Today we're going to take measurements for gloves. I personally make a lot of fingerless gloves, so the important measurements for fingerless gloves are the width of your hand across here, the length around your wrist for the cuff, and then the height across from the base of your thumb to your knuckles, and then from your knuckles up to where you want your cuffs to end. For me, I like mine to end right about my knuckle area, my tallest knuckle. So, the first thing we're going to do is the measurement around the width of my hand. And I'm using a measuring tape that is both US and metric, which is very helpful if you're looking at European patterns. And you can see for me, this is not pulled quite as tight as it could be, but I'm coming in at about an 8-inch glove. So that means that most of the time when I'm looking at glove patterns, I'm looking for a glove pattern that will fit an 8-inch hand. There we go. See right there. And then my second pattern, or my next measurement, will be around my wrist. And that'll just give me my width of my cuff. Sometimes I need to adjust patterns so that I can have a cuff that's as tight as I like. Occasionally they're made for slightly wider wrists than I have. And the width around my cuff is, as you can see, about 6 3/4 inches, almost 7. So most of the time a 7-inch cuff will be just fine for me. The last measurement is from the base of your thumb, which is where the hole, when you leave a hole for the thumb, that's where it will begin, up to the top of your first knuckle. So for me, that space is about, you can see there, about an inch and 3/4. So when I'm doing the palm, I go up about an 1 3/4, and then the next measurement will be from that same spot, the top of your first knuckle, to where you want your cuff to be. So I like my cuffs to go up high enough to hide my middle finger knuckle. So for me, that cuffs, my favorite cuff is going to be about an 1.5 to an 1 3/4. And then if you're going to do gloves with fingers, the last set of measurements you'll want will be your longest finger, just from the base of the knuckle, because that's where the glove will end. So the length of the finger that I'll make for that one will be about a 3-inch finger for my middle finger, and then you'll want the shortest one, so about a 2 1/4-inch finger for my pinky. So I know that as I'm making my other 2 fingers, they're going to just hit somewhere in between, probably closer to the 3 inches. Because the first and third fingers are usually pretty close to that. So, and then if you need to, you can also do a measurement from the base of your thumb up. It's usually fairly close to the length of your pinky. So as you can see, mine would come in at about 2, maybe 2 1/4 inches, and the pinky is also about 2 1/4 inches. So that's the measurements we need for making gloves. Alright, today we're going to measure somebody else's hand for gloves. First measurement we want to get will be across the width of the hand right in here. So, pick that hand up. I'm using the non-metric side because that's the patterns I'm working with, are usually in inches. So we've got 8 3/4 inch width. Second measurement we'll want to get is around the wrist for the cuff. In this case it's about 7 1/4 inches. That'll allow you to adjust the cuff width to make your gloves comfortable. The next one that we need to do will be from the base of the thumb, where the end of the thumb hole will begin, up to right about the top edge of the first knuckle. So in this case about 1 1/2 to 1 5/8 of an inch. And then from there, if you're doing fingerless gloves, you need to go up as high as you like the cuff. So we're going to say that the cuff will come across right here at the first knuckle, and that brings us up to about 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 inches right there, about 1 1/4. And then if you're going to do gloves that have, oh, and then you need the thumb one for fingerless gloves. If you're going to add a thumb, you want the measurement from the base of the thumb up to the knuckle, so about 1 inch. If you're going to do gloves that are with fingers, you're going to measure the longest finger from about this area where the cuff, where the palm will end. So we've got about 4 inches. This is a young hand still growing, so I'd probably make it maybe 4 1/8. And then you're going to want to measure the same thing with the pinky. So we've got about 2 1/2, I'd say 2 3/4, since I know this one's going to be for someone who's growing. And you notice that the 3 3/8, 3 3/8, they'll all measure just under what the middle finger measures. So when you're making your gloves, you're going to make the smallest one 2 1/4 or 3/4. The longest finger will be just about 4 inches, and then these two will be somewhere a little bit shorter than that. I'd probably make each one about 3 3/4. So there you go, glove making. Okay.